So, video 2 of 2. If you've started watching this video first, you need to watch the first video before you watch this, because I'm gonna tell you how to do the second part of the homework. So, I'm assuming you've now watched video 1. So let's finish off marking this homework. I'm correcting it, purple pen. So let's move to where we were. We're about to do question 4. So very quickly, let's finish this homework, expressing in standard form. I think the first thing to say is my decimal point is normally here at the end, and I need to move it 1, 2, 3 times. So I'm ready to go. Times 10 to the 3. This 3 here, this power, is because I moved it 3 times. Let's see how many times I move it this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Which means I need to power 6. On this next question, I'm moving it once. So I'll power 1. Now I'm moving it the other way on these ones. So I need a negative power. I'm going to move it 4 times. But I'm moving it the other way, so it's -4. Again, I'm moving it the other way. I'm moving it 3 times. But I can't just put power 3. I have to put -3 because I'm moving that decimal point the other way. And on this last one, I'm going to count it. I need the pointer out. So let's count it. See how many times I move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've moved it 7 times. And watch me get this wrong. I've moved it 7 times. Yeah, but I've moved it the other way. So it needs to be -7. Now it's right. On to question 5. One of the problems with the group here was not showing your method. My method is common denominators here, so that one's easy. There's no method required there. But on this next one, I need a common denominator of 21. So this is me showing my method, and this is what's missing from some of your work. My answer will have 21 on the bottom as well. Let's be careful with this. Times by 3 to make this. Times by 3 up here as well. So I can actually have a 3 there. Watch this. Times by 7 to make this 21. So the top needs to be times by 7 as well, giving me 49. Now add the tops. 52. That's one of the answers. There are some other answers. You can convert this if you want, but actually this is correct. Let's work on this next one, 2/5. I'm going to convert it into 3/2 first of all, and use a common denominator of 10. Again, this is me showing my method. My answer will have 10 at the bottom as well. Got my answer ready. Let's look again. 5 is doubled to make 10. So 2 is doubled to make 4. There's that. Go again. 2 is times by 5 to make 10. 3 is times by 5 to make 15. So we can put 15 in there. Add your numerators. 19. The answer is 19/10. Again, it will convert. You've got that. You've got 1.9. They're all the same answer. Common denominator of 30. There's me setting up my question. My answer's going to have 30 at the bottom of it. Let's look again. Times by 3. So I've got to times the top by 3. That will be 24. Times by 10. Times the top by 10. Give me an answer of 10 there. Take your numerators away from each other. 14/30. Simplify it by halving the top and bottom of that fraction. Don't like this next one because of the 4/12. I'll explain this now. 2 1/5. Leave that alone for now. Now 4/12 is actually a third. This 4/12 here, this one here is actually a third. So it's 3 1/3, and that makes the question slightly easier. Now let's convert. Well, 2 1/5 is 11/5. 3 1/3 is 10/3. Now I'm going to use a common denominator of 15 there, 15 there. My answer will have a 15 in it. Let's have a look at how to convert these fractions. Times in by 3, times in by 3, 33. Let's look again. Times in by 5, times by 5, 50 on the top. Add the tops, 83. That's one answer. There are other answers. Now I need to convert these both into fractions. Well, 7 1/2 is 7.5 or 75/10. 0.3 is 3/10. And then what I can actually do is I can multiply the top and the bottoms together. The numerators multiplied together is 225, and again you can use the column method for that. This is 100 on the bottom, and you get the answer 22.5. So that's the answer to that question. Some students in the class did have this answer, but they had a fraction, which is fine. Now here's a question that you can make a bit of a meal out of and end up in all sorts of problems. One of the things to point out is that this is in centimetres and this is in metres, and I think the easiest thing to do is just to work in metres for both of them. So this is 3 metres here, 3 times 2 is 6, so my answer is 6 square metres. Why complicate it when you don't have to? What I might do then on this next question is work in centimetres, simply because the numbers are going to be small. I might just do that. So if I work in centimetres, this height up here is 8 centimetres. So I've actually got to do base times height. Sorry, it's the other way around there. So it's height times base. And remember, it's a triangle. So when I've done that, I'm going to half my answer. Now, various ways of doing this. You could do 8 times 5.2 or 8 whole ones times 52 tenths. When you've done that though, you do need to half your answer. And it's up to you to think about how you might do 8 times 52. We're not in year 9 to be multiplying numbers together. You know how to do that. But once you've done that, you need to divide it by 10 and half it. And you will get the following answer. Let me just have a look. I think I wrote it down. I have it. It's 20.8. Now if you were to write that down there, I've got an answer of 20.8. And we're working in centimetres, so it's square centimetres there. So that's the end of that. If you were to work in millimetres, you could always do 80. Bear with me, you could always do 80 times by 52 and then half it, and you'd have an answer in square millimetres. Let's keep going, we're nearly done. End of the homework once I've finished this. Now in order to actually get this sorted, I'm going to just add a couple of extra columns. This is the thousands column here. And then over here, I've got the 10,000s. I think that might be enough to actually answer these questions. 0.73 divided by 1,000. Watch me use this diagram. 0.73. Now, if you divide something by 1,000, what you do is you shift everything along 2 places like that. So there's the answer to this first question. 0.0073. Let's undo that now and actually do the next question. It says 1.27 times 10 squared. Well, if I put 1.27 in there and I times it by 100, because it does say here times by 10 squared, times by 100. So that means move everything along the other way and you get 127. So that's that. Question C, we're getting somewhere now, so let's just set this up for question C. 0.003, put that in my diagram. It's there. Now when you multiply by 10,000, you move everything 4 times. So this 3 here will move 4 times to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it ends up in the tens column. Fill it with zeros, you've got the answer 30. So that's the answer to part C, 30. Let's clear this diagram off again. Question D, we're multiplying by 10 squared, which means multiplied by 100. So if I put my number in my diagram, 15.2, oops, not there, 15.2. Multiplying by 100 means move everything 2 places to the left. Fill it with zeros, 1,520. And the last question's a trick. And let me just clear my diagram and get ready to answer it. It says 724, which is there. Now if I multiplied it by 10 to the power 1, it would make it 10 times bigger. So if I'm multiplying it by 10 to the power minus 1, it makes it 10 times smaller. And you end up with 72.4. Now that's it, and I am well aware that I have been talking fast in these videos. It's to save time, because you can always rewind it if you are stuck, and you can listen again to how I've done it. So please show you're working out and make enough corrections on that page so you fill your purple pen corrections sheet. So when we stick it over your homework, you can clearly see that you have learnt how to do any of those things that went wrong. So that's it. That's your homework for this week, to correct the previous week's homework. And the deadline for that, as I've said, is Tuesday the 20th.